Greetings, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2. And this one, we're going to focus on an idea that was asked to me. And I have taught for many, many years. So that's why some of these ideas come up in discussions, whether I'm teaching class or online. And so I kind of bring these up and I want to kind of bring them to my viewers also online. So this topic is called detachment. This is a more of a psychology term. So we're going to get into this and say, detach your mind is the key. So we'll talk about that a little bit and delve into it. First, subscribe, comment, like. These things are always important for me to kind of judge where we're at. And like I said, I'm going to do a bunch of them today. This is Saturday. And then I'm going to take some time off a little bit, and then we'll get back to them sometime next week. So all that, we talk about all this, the idea is that when you see something, and we talk about this with the one with all that glitters not gold, but when you see something that looks good, you start attaching yourself to it. By human nature, we're a time of people that want to attach. We want to attach to things. We want to go ahead and attach to ideas. We want to make sure that we identify those things, because part of our identity is focusing on attaching to something, okay? But the thing is that when you attach to something, you now become part of that in your own mind. And the danger in that is that you become so involved in that thing that you can't break loose. And this is what happens. A lot of us are in our own cage of our own doing. We're focusing so much on things that we want, not realizing that we're putting ourselves in a trap. And it's the old type of thing about being in a trap, right? And I see this, there's Bible stories about, adultery and things like that, so that the woman is bringing the man into the bedroom, and all of a sudden it's almost like a reference to a lamb to a slaughter, because the woman, has a husband or boyfriends or something, and they're ready to kill the adulterer coming in, right? But he's not seeing that, because all he sees is all the beauty that's around him. And so he's getting himself trapped because he's detached to it. He's attached to it. He's too attached to it. So because he's attached to it, he's not able to break away. And so attachment is something that we do a lot of. I mean, we're attached to a lot of things in our life. We're attached to baseball teams, football teams. We're attached to different types of things that we see. And the key to so much of this is the fact that we put everything so much into it that it affects us a lot physically and mentally. And when it comes to the mental type of aspects and the emotional types of aspects, what ends up happening is that we become so attached that we really give up a lot of our energy. Emotional type of energy, sometimes physical type of energy, when it comes to the vital force and things like that, and you get drained, right? If you're so attached to your football team and they lose a game, and it used to be like me a long time ago, right? I used to be a very strong Minnesota Viking fan back in the 1970s, and they lost like 4 Super Bowls, and I would literally cry because as a kid, you want your team to win, and you don't want to be associated with losing type of teams. And even though they came in second, in reality, basically what they did was still lose. They didn't win the championship. So that taught me a lesson that part of the problem I have is how I attach to things. And so I always have to be careful from my aspect of it not to detach. And I think life is really a matter of detachment. The more you can detach from things, the more you're not putting all your energy into one thing to the point where it's too much. Now, I say this, but we're in a society of high competition. We're in a society of accomplishing things, doing things, okay? The key, my friends, is a tough balance between the two. You want to strive, continue doing things, working on things, but don't take yourself too seriously, okay? Don't take yourself too seriously. You have to be able to kind of laugh at mistakes you make. You have to kind of be able to kind of push them aside, saying, I'm going to go ahead with this no matter what, but I'm not going to take myself too seriously. It's over with. We did it, but now we're going to move on. Right? Those type of things, hello, my friend, my kitty down there, those type of things are important because you, from a mental standpoint, you have to be able to move on. If something doesn't happen that success, it doesn't happen that you want, well, then you still have to mentally be able to move on. If you're so attached to something, you're going to struggle moving on. You're going to struggle going ahead and saying, I'll keep going, right? This is what happens with males and females as well. People become attached to each other to the point where they can't literally live without the person, or they think they can't. But when the person's gone, they find, okay, I can move on. But this detachment hurts that relationship. We were never intended, in my opinion, to be this attached to things and people. You got to let those things go. All right? They always say when you pass away, you're not going to be able to take anything with you, right? You've got to detach away from those things. The same thing with people. You've got to go ahead and detach away from the people you're in. Now, it doesn't mean you can't spend time with them and have a lot of fun and be able to be with them. But the more you detach, the more vulnerable you are from an energy standpoint that you have to be careful of. And detachment is more of, in my opinion, and attachment is more of an insecurity than security. When you know that you're a certain type of person, you have this confidence level, you're a retainer, you know that. You know people are going to come to you. So you don't need to control other people. Big part of all of this is control, because you're afraid. A person's afraid of losing that attachment. And because of that, they become jealous and possessive and angry and all these type of things that happen because of the control, because of the fact that they have to attach to something. The key to life is, in my opinion at least, is to have no attachments. You believe in things, you believe in a God, you believe in things around you, but you're not attached to the point where you're making idols or you're doing this or you're doing that. I love my God, but I'm not attached to other things around me, right? And because God is a thing that's a spiritual thing, right? If you're going to attach to things, attach to something that's spiritual, and which is the way I'm approaching things. Attaching to something that's spiritual is not your materialistic type of thing. And therefore, that's something that's going to be there all the time for you. But when you're attaching to material objects or people, then you're bound to lose that situation, because now you become very vulnerable. And you do things and you say things that you may not want to do and say because you're afraid of losing that situation. It's almost like this analogy, guys. You put a bird in a cage. That bird wants to go. They will do anything they want to do is go. But if you let that bird go, that bird will come back. And that's the key to the whole situation. People are afraid of letting that bird go because they're afraid the bird's not going to come back. But having confidence, having all those things that we talk about that are important, you have to realize that you are drawing people to you because of this energy. And because you're drawing people to you because of the energy, now you're going to have massive success in the things you want to do. Don't worry about rejection. Don't worry about people not coming back in your life. They will be there. But that takes a whole different attitude. That's why this journey is so important, because you're realizing you don't have to attach to things. You're realizing you don't need people as much as you thought you did. And the idea, guys, is that when you're in your last days, no one's going to help you. No physical person's going to help you, right? Nothing, all the money in the world's not going to help you. Those things are not going to help you because you're changing. And once again, when you look at energy and matter cannot be destroyed. It just changes into something else. And so our spirits, our souls, they move into a different type of thing. And so you don't need any money. You don't need people. All these people you were with, they mean nothing. In a long sense, they mean nothing. Yes, you'll have some good memories, and that's always important. But the bottom line, guys, is that you should not be attaching to things, because those things are going to end up destroying your energy in the long run. You need to be able to be detached to things, appreciate things, find the beauty in things that you can, but don't get to the point where these things are dictating you. That's what happens with images and all these bad things that you see on television and all the porn and all the things you see. Those things are bad images. Those things basically create this temptation, and you're attached to that thing. Somehow you visualize, or you vicariously live through these characters that you're seeing on television. That's why I don't watch a lot of this stuff anymore. I may watch a sporting event, but even then, I get irritated at some of these type of things I see on television with advertisements and things like that, because that goes back to the whole idea of attachment. And they want you to attach to the food you eat, attach to the people you eat, money you have, the things you need to have to be successful. And all this is a bunch of propaganda to me, that we're living in this matrix of things the way they should be as compared to how people think they are. And that's why you say to yourself, when you look at things, you have to go back to the one I did a few minutes ago. It looks good, but is it good for you? Detach your mind away and find success. Until next time, guys, battle on.